Hello and welcome to this video about the function of kidney in maintaining homeostasis. In this video, we will learn about what homeostasis is, why it is important, how the kidneys contribute to it, and what are some of the diseases and disorders that can affect the kidneys and homeostasis. Before we begin, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of our latest videos on biology and other topics. Also, please like and share this video with your friends and family who might be interested in learning more about the amazing functions of the kidneys. And don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics that you want us to cover. Homeostasis is the state of balance and stability in the body, where various physiological parameters are kept within a normal range. These parameters include temperature, pH, blood pressure, blood glucose, blood oxygen, blood carbon dioxide, water content, electrolyte concentration, and hormone levels. Homeostasis is essential for maintaining health and survival, as it ensures that the cells and tissues can function properly and efficiently. If homeostasis is disrupted or disturbed, it can lead to various problems and complications, such as organ damage, metabolic disorders, infections, inflammation, and even death. The body has several systems and mechanisms that work together to maintain homeostasis. These include the nervous system, the endocrine system, the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, the digestive system, the immune system, the integumentary system, and the urinary system. Each of these systems has a specific role and function in regulating one or more aspects of homeostasis. The urinary system is one of the most important systems for maintaining homeostasis. It consists of 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 bladder, and 1 urethra. The main function of the urinary system is to filter the blood and remove waste products from it by producing and secreting urine. However, this is not its only function. The urinary system also performs several other functions that are vital for maintaining homeostasis in various ways. These functions include regulating the water content in the blood and the body fluids by adjusting the amount of urine output. The kidneys can sense the level of hydration and osmolarity, the concentration of dissolved substances, in the blood and body fluids. If there is too much water or too little solutes, the kidneys will produce more dilute urine to get rid of the excess water and restore the balance. If there is too little water or too much solutes, the kidneys will produce less concentrated urine to conserve water and prevent dehydration. The kidneys also respond to hormones that affect the water balance, such as antidiuretic hormone, ADH, and aldosterone. ADH is released by the posterior pituitary gland when the blood osmolarity is high or the blood volume or pressure is low. It acts on the kidneys to increase the water reabsorption from the collecting ducts, resulting in less urine output and more concentrated urine. Aldosterone is released by the adrenal cortex when the blood sodium level is low or the blood potassium level is high. It acts on the kidneys to increase the sodium and water reabsorption from the distal tubules and collecting ducts, resulting in less urine output and more concentrated urine. Controlling the acid-base balance in the blood and the body fluids by recovering and regenerating bicarbonate and excreting hydrogen ions. The kidneys can regulate the pH, the measure of acidity or alkalinity, of the blood and body fluids by adjusting their bicarbonate and hydrogen ion secretion or reabsorption. Bicarbonate is a base that can neutralize acids, while hydrogen ions are acids that can lower pH. The kidneys can reabsorb bicarbonate from the proximal tubules and loop of Henle, or secrete it into the distal tubules and collecting ducts, depending on the pH level. The kidneys can also secrete hydrogen ions into the proximal tubules, distal tubules, and collecting ducts, or reabsorb them from the loop of Henle, depending on the pH level. The kidneys also produce a substance called ammonia that can combine with hydrogen ions to form ammonium, which is then excreted in urine. This helps to remove excess hydrogen ions from the body and increase pH. The kidneys work together with other organs, such as the lungs and the buffer systems in the blood, to maintain a normal pH range of 7.35 to 7.45. We have reached halfway through this video about the function of kidney in maintaining homeostasis. I hope you are enjoying it so far and learning something new and interesting. If you are, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family who might be interested in learning more about the amazing functions of the kidneys. And don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics that you want us to cover. The kidney also help in maintaining the concentration of electrolytes, such as sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, magnesium, copper, and phosphate in the blood and the body fluids by reabsorbing or excreting them. The kidneys can regulate the levels of electrolytes in the blood and body fluids by adjusting their reabsorption or excretion from the nephrons. Electrolytes are charged particles that are involved in various functions, such as nerve conduction, muscle contraction, fluid balance, enzyme activity, and bone formation. The kidneys can reabsorb or secrete electrolytes from the proximal tubules, loop of Henle, distal tubules, and collecting ducts, depending on their levels and needs. The kidneys also respond to hormones that affect the electrolyte balance, such as aldosterone, parathyroid hormone, PTH, and calcitriol. Aldosterone, as mentioned earlier, increases the sodium and water reabsorption and potassium secretion from the distal tubules and collecting ducts. PTH is released by the parathyroid glands when the blood calcium level is low. It acts on the kidneys to increase the calcium reabsorption from the distal tubules and decrease the phosphate reabsorption from the proximal tubules. Calcitriol is a form of vitamin D that is activated by the kidneys when the blood calcium or phosphate level is low. It acts on the kidneys to increase the calcium and phosphate reabsorption from the proximal tubules. The kidneys maintain a normal range of electrolyte levels in the blood and body fluids, such as 135 to 145 millimoles per liter, mmol/L, for sodium, 3.5 to 5 mmol/L for potassium, 95 to 105 mmol/L for chloride, 22 to 26 mmol/L for bicarbonate, 0.7 to 1.1 mmol/L for magnesium, 0.7 to 1.5 mmol/L for copper, and 0.8 to 1.5 mmol/L for phosphate. Regulating the blood pressure by controlling the extracellular fluid volume through the renin-angiotensin system that affects the sodium level and water retention. The kidneys can sense the changes in blood pressure by detecting the stretch of their blood vessels. If there is a decrease in blood pressure due to blood loss, dehydration, or other causes, the kidneys will release an enzyme called renin from their juxtaglomerular cells into the bloodstream. Renin will catalyze a series of reactions that will result in the production of a hormone called angiotensin II. Angiotensin II has several effects on the body that will increase blood pressure, such as constricting the blood vessels to increase resistance, stimulating the thirst center in the brain to increase fluid intake, stimulating the release of ADH from the posterior pituitary gland to increase water reabsorption from the kidneys, stimulating the release of aldosterone from the adrenal cortex to increase sodium and water reabsorption and potassium secretion from the kidneys, stimulating the release of other hormones, such as cortisol and epinephrine, that have various effects on the metabolism, immune system, and cardiovascular system. Angiotensin II also acts directly on the kidneys to increase the sodium and water reabsorption and decrease the urine output. All these actions help to restore the blood volume and blood pressure to normal levels. Synthesizing two important hormones that support homeostasis, erythropoietin and renin. Erythropoietin is a hormone that stimulates the production of red blood cells in the bone marrow. Red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. Erythropoietin is released by the kidneys when the blood oxygen level is low, such as in anemia, hypoxia, or hemorrhage. It acts on the bone marrow to increase the number of red blood cells, which increases the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. This is important for delivering oxygen to the tissues and preventing hypoxia and tissue damage. Renin is an enzyme that is involved in the synthesis of angiotensin II, as mentioned earlier. Renin is released by the kidneys when the blood pressure is low, such as in dehydration, blood loss, or heart failure. It acts on a protein called angiotensinogen in the blood to convert it into angiotensin I, which is then converted into angiotensin II by another enzyme called angiotensin-converting enzyme, ACE, in the lungs. Angiotensin II then has multiple effects on the body that increase blood pressure, as discussed earlier. The kidneys are composed of millions of microscopic structures called nephrons that are responsible for these functions. The nephrons start in the outer layer of the kidney called the cortex and loop down into the inner layer called the medulla before returning to the cortex. The urine formed by the nephrons is collected by ducts called collecting tubules that drain into larger ducts called collecting ducts. The collecting ducts converge into a funnel-shaped structure called the renal pelvis that connects to a tube called the ureter. The ureter transports the urine to the bladder, where it is stored until it is expelled from the body through another tube called the urethra. The kidneys are constantly monitoring and adjusting their functions to keep homeostasis in response to various internal and external factors, such as blood volume, blood pressure, blood pH, blood osmolarity, hormone levels, hydration status, diet, and environmental temperature. The kidneys receive feedback from various sensors and receptors in the body that detect changes in these factors and send signals to the kidneys to modify their activities accordingly. For example, if there is dehydration or blood loss, there will be a decrease in blood volume and blood pressure. This will trigger the release of renin from the kidneys, which will initiate a cascade of reactions that will result in increased water retention and vasoconstriction to restore blood volume and blood pressure. The kidneys are essential for cleansing the blood and eliminating urine waste from the body. They also perform many other functions that are vital for maintaining homeostasis in various aspects. They are amazing organs that work tirelessly to keep us healthy and alive. We have reached the end of this video about the function of kidney in maintaining homeostasis. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new and interesting. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family who might be interested in learning more about the amazing functions of the kidneys. And don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics that you want us to cover. Thank you for watching this video and see you next time.